Alright guys, time to press on with the battle reports for Rallypoint. It's game 1, Circle against Crix, and I've managed to randomly draw a very reputable player from Wellington known as Mike, and when I looked at his lists, I was panicking hard. I saw that he had Epic Deneghra and Epic Goreshade, and with Goreshade, although his spell list, yeah, and his feat, interesting, the real problem about it is that his Epic Goreshade list just had Bane Thralls and Bane Knights for Africa. There were so many of them, and I knew that if I'd faced him with either of my lists, really, that would be very difficult, because I didn't really do well against tough. And with the Bane Thralls in general, what was going to happen is that even though my anti-magic capabilities was good, if it fell into a war of attrition, it would have been really hard. Whereas Epic Deneghra, if she feats at the right time, she's just going to freeze my entire army, and then all of her solos and bits and pieces and stuff can just run right over me. She won't even really need her offensive spell list. So very, very worried. But I've taken Kromac, because I figure, Bestial's going to be quite useful against either caster, and if he does end up going with a mass Bane Thrall spams and goes over the objectives, I might be able to sort of chop my way through them if he's very forgiving with the tough rolls. Whereas Mosar might struggle if he has to hold on to the objectives, which it is, a revelation scenario. So with Kromac there, he might be able to have a chance. Mosar would have to step back a bit and sort of pick away at the enemy, which you can't really afford to do in this sort of scenario. So here we are. Kromac just deployed dead center with the shifting stones and Lord of the Feast right up front, and really just hoping to have some good luck here. Next photo, looking at Mike's army, he has, I've tried to put up a little list of what he's got in the video description just from memory, but it's very solo heavy. He's got all of the little bits and pieces that are good in Crix without actually taking any Bane Thralls or Bane Knights in this particular list. And I think that's just because with eDenny's feat, you can really get so much mileage out of all of your little nitpicking solos and just hurt the enemy so badly, and then just wash them with Mech Thralls and just tie them up while you pick away at them. It's just such an effective list in that regard. So I'm going to be having to play very well to sort of overcome all of that. Next image, I've taken the first turn here. I believe the flag that has to be scored from first is the one on the left-hand side in this photo. But really, I'm hoping that she feats a little bit early. I'm hoping that I sort of have a chance to sort of scare him back a bit, sort of make him come forward a bit slowly. If he just rushes forward and doesn't feat, then I will charge right at him and hope to cause as much damage as I can before he inevitably picks me apart and kills me. But hopefully, if I do enough damage, he won't have enough actual firepower to take me down. But knowing, Crix with Mech Thralls being able to come back the way they can, I'm not going to be able to win a war of attrition that way. Next photo, he does move up forward, and eDenny charges one of the Bane Thralls here. Not Bane Thralls, Mech Thralls, and he does feat. And I wasn't actually expecting him to feat turn 1, but he saw the opportunity to get every single model in my army with the feat. And I thought that was a little bit of a mistake from him, because if he waited for me to attack first with some or all of my army, yes, I would do a lot of damage, but he would then attack back, lock me in place, and keep attacking me again, and the feat would give him the -3 defense and be able to make something out of that. Whereas, the way things stood, he couldn't really do that, and even though I'm frozen in place, I'm actually on the objectives, so I'm actually kind of okay with that, and my whole army is within the triangle of stones, so I can teleport. So I felt good that he'd done that. Going to the next photo, you can sort of see where the position of this is as well. I mean, he's crept up with all of his army. He's actually in range to charge me with some stuff next turn. But just looking at it, I mean, even if I'm frozen in place for one turn, he'll be able to charge the forefront stuff, and I've actually screened my army a little bit with the Wolf Riders, which will save me some hassle. I mean, I don't really mind losing the Wolf Riders in this situation. It's the beasts that are going to win or lose the game. And I should be able to actually do alright, so I wasn't feeling that, how should I put it, I wasn't really feeling particularly like I was on the back foot just yet. So let's go to the next photo. I've immediately sent the Lord of the Feast in to scrape away some of the Thralls. Yes, they're going to be brought back to life straight away, but this gives me a little diversion, because if he sends a lot of troops around here to deal with the Lord of the Feast, it's less guys that he's actually smashing back in the centre of the field. Also, I've teleported the stones. Used the stones to teleport the Stalker, by the way, next to the his single jack that he had. I've gone primal with him and just wrecked it. This is while I'm affected by the feat, by the way, so Lord of the Feast was okay because he could use his Raven to be placed, and the stones, of course, placing the Stalker. So I'm actually getting some kills, even while affected by eDenny's feat, which is quite good. Sometimes it takes some circle mobility to be able to pull stuff like that off. So I'm quite happy about that, actually. It means that he can only sort of, get some of his army to grips with me, and next turn I'll be unfrozen and I'll be able to actually start hacking at him. Very worried about the warwitch sirens and the pistol wraiths and guys like that, and obviously Gorman, because in later turns he's going to be hiding behind a screen of Mech Thralls and letting them deal with me while he picks at me with those solos, which will obviously really hurt. Next image, Epic Deneghra has gone incorporeal and charged the Stalker through the wall, or at least moved through. I can't remember what happened there, and has hacked him nearly to death here, doing a lot of damage on him. And, of course, she feels a little bit safer because she's incorporeal. Next image, what happens is she hits the Stalker and actually teleports him with her little hitting stick, and then he gets charged by a little Death Ripper guy, as well as some of the Mech Thralls and the big Steam Fist dude. And generally, his guy's causing a lot of trouble. The Lord of the Feast is still up there, but he then gets attacked by some of the other Crixie friends nearby. So, just in general, my opponent dealing with a few things that I sent at him. I believe the Stalker was destroyed at this point. Can't quite remember exactly. But what I do remember is that I checked Kromac's control range, and I saw that eDenny was around about 13 inches away. And we all know what that means. And looking at this particular photo, if you look at the image between the position of the Stalker in the photo and eDenny and that little light jack there, there's a little gap next to that big fallen down pillar where Kromac could land if he runs over and jumps. And of course the wolf riders can just get out of the way and give him an opportunity to do that. Now, I was a little bit iffy about the range and the placement. So what I did is I moved a gorax around the back of Kromac, did a push on him. My opponent then announced to me that I needed to do a strength check. Kromac rolled 2 for a strength check. The gorax had primal self just so he could get the extra strength and beat the strength check. So Kromac had an extra inch of range. Let's go to the next photo. After a little bit of wrangling and talking to my opponent, we finally agreed that that's where Kromac was going to land. It was pretty clear just measuring his control range. And of course, he's a beast in his maintenance phase. He goes at eDenny with all 14 Fury. Doesn't even need the first 7. He just hacks at her a couple of times and off with her head. So, very relieved to win my first game. Even more relieved to win it against a high-caliber player with, some really tough lists. He did say to me at the start of the game that he hadn't played Kromac before, and that gave me some hope, knowing that if I kept pushing Kromac forward, I might have this very opportunity to actually do the assassination like that. Kromac has magical weapons, so even though she's incorporeal, he can do it. And just a huge relief, and my confidence really at a high after winning this first game as an underdog, going on to round 2 with that win under my belt, really just feeling kind of bulletproof at the moment, but really wonderful way to win, obviously, with Kromac, and really just some punishment. So hope you guys enjoyed this little look at Game 1. We'll have Game 2 shortly.